Hello and welcome to another video for Jaff Comics. This time we have the latest Magic the Gathering set, Lorwyn Eclipsed. That's right, we're returning to both Lorwyn and Shadowmoor. It was a bit before my time of starting Magic, but this will be a great introduction for both myself and many other Magic the Gathering players who maybe are newer to the game, or even experienced players, to either return to a very beloved plane of Lorwyn and Shadowmoor, and to see some great actual in-universe lore from Magic the Gathering. So let's see. We have our first play booster box of many today. We're going to be opening, I believe, 4 play booster boxes and a collector booster box. So we'll have videos for each of those out. Make sure to subscribe to Jaff Comics here on YouTube to see all of those when they get uploaded and get notifications. This is the first video, so we're going to be going over a few more of the cards a little bit more in depth, but if you're an experienced Magic the Gathering player and you already know a lot of the mechanics, you can check out most of the other videos. We'll be kind of just diving through and just seeing the awesome pulls that we get. So, for this first one, we're going to have a Stratosorer, an Elemental. Elementals are a big theme of the set. We actually have our little reminder card of the draft archetypes. In white-blue, we have Merfolk. Black-red, we have Goblins. Green-white, we have Kithkin. Red-blue, we have Elementals. And black-green, we have Elves. Now that there's not a number of other fantasy creatures in Lorwyn, as you might see here, but those are some of the main archetypes that we'll see for actual creature types. So here we have our first Elemental. We have a Timid Shieldbearer, a Kithkin Soldier, a Gangly Stompling. This has Changeling, so it's every creature type. So you can be in red or green. Toss this guy in there, and you have a 4/2 for 3 mana with Trample. Very nice. A Boggart Prankster, which is a Goblin Warrior. Lots of Boggarts in the Goblin camp there. We have a Midnight Tilling, an instant. Very nice. Coolwrath Zealot, an Elemental Warrior. A lot of these elementals seem to have basic land cycling on them, or some form of cycling, which is a great mechanic to have return. In this case, it's basic land cycling for 1 in a red, which is a little bit higher of a cost than some of the other cyclings are, but nonetheless, having a 6/5 or 6 in limited that can get you a land when you need to for 2 mana, at least the hand, is not too shabby. Heirloom Auntie, we have ourselves another Bogart here. Very nice. And we have, I think, nope, we don't have our first instance of Blight, but I'm sure we'll see that very soon. We do have our first instance of Vivid with Glister Baron. This is a 5 mana 1/4 with Vivid that says the beginning of combat on your turn. Another target creature you control gets +X/+X until end of turn, where X is the number of colors among permanents you control. Of course, this Glister Baron is green and blue because of the mana value there. Very nice. But of course, if you have more colors, the Vivid will only get better. So if you have the Shimmer Creep and the Glister Baron, this Vivid this time will have 3 of the colors. In this case, it would be when this creature enters, each opponent loses X and you gain X life, where X is the number of colors among permanents you control. And of course, it has Menace as well. We have ourselves an Omni Changeling. Nice. Can have this creature enter as any creature on a copy of any creature on the battlefield, except it has Changeling, and it's Convoke. Ooh, actually, I don't know that I've seen this before. But for a Convoke blue card that can be a clone effect, I could see this being actually quite playable as an uncommon in many decks, especially in Commander. Our first rare, though, we have a Dawnhand Dissident with our first instance of Blight, which doesn't really explain on this one, so I'm sure we'll see on another card to actually give you the long and short of it. For now, I'll give you the short of it. Blighting is putting a -1/-1 counter on a creature you control, or whoever the person that is blighting controls, I should say, because there are things like Ward, which has a Blight to do it, but if you do Blight, you as a person, or as the player who is blighting, blights your own creature with a -1/-1 counter. But this is Blight 1, Surveil 1, Blight 2, and it's exile target creature from a graveyard. During your turn, you can cast creature spells from among the cards you own exiled with this creature by removing 3 counters from among creatures you control in addition to paying their other costs. Very nice. Wow, is this a... Oh, no, it's not a 3 rare pack, but it is 2 rares at the very least. We have a Bristlebane Battler. Say that 3 times fast. We have a 2 mana 6/6. Okay. Trample Ward 2. Already upside. Of course, here's our first downside. This creature enters with 5 -1/-1 counters on it. Whenever another creature you control enters while this creature has a -1/-1 counter on it, remove a -1/-1 counter from this creature. So it doesn't blight the other creature with the -1. It just straight up removes it from here. That seems like a very, very strong card. And our first foil card, we have a Tributary Vaulter, 3 mana 1/3 flying. Whenever it becomes tapped, another target merfolk you control gets +2/+0 until end of turn. Ooh, and we have our first of the full art lands. So we'll take a look at that. Very, very swampy. I know some of the sets, either in the past or upcoming, such as Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, may have lands that are not actually looking like lands, but this is very much a swamp. And as a long-term Magic player, I know I'm a big fan of things looking like the things that they say they are. And there's a very cool swamp at that. Sweet. Ooh, and a very cool goblin token as well. Who's the artist on this? Larry McDougall. Very nice. And backside has a fairy as well. Awesome. Nothing crazy from the first pack, but that's okay. Because we've got plenty more to go. We have ourselves a Chaos Spewer. Again, here is Blight with its reminder text. So when this creature enters, you may pay 2 generic mana. If you don't, Blight 2. And to Blight 2, put 2 -1/-1 counters on a creature you control. Again, as the player that is blighting, you have to be the one that controls the creature that you're putting the -1/-1 counters on. Very nice. We have Unexpected Assistance. Convoke to draw 3, discard 1. Sweet. Shore Lurker. Flamekin Guild Weaver. Creature enters, create a treasure. A Bog Slither's Embrace as an additional cost to cast. Blight 1 or pay 3 and exile target creature. For only 2 mana, possibly. That's pretty good in black. Tend the Sprigs, sorcery. Tutors up a basic land onto the battlefield tapped. Then if you control 7 or more tree folk and or lands, create a 3/4. Awesome. Runaway Together, a lovely reprint. Of course, this time with what looks kind of like Ashiok. I'm not sure if it is, but maybe an elf even, with a fairy. Lovely little art. Morkant's Loyalist. I know a lot of people are excited about Morkant, so maybe we'll put this aside to see the High Perfect herself in one of these packs, but she is one of the Golgari rares that cares a lot about elves, and is a very good card. So we'll set that aside just to see if we see Morkant in here, because that would be very cool. We have ourselves a Seer. A Gathering Stone. I know this is definitely going to be a playable card in a number of formats. As this artifact enters, choose a creature type. Spells you cast the chosen type. It costs 1 less to cast, already pretty good at 4 mana. And then when the artifact enters, and at the beginning of your upkeep, look at the top card of your library. If it's a card of the chosen type, you may reveal it, put it to hand. If you don't, put the card into your hand. You may put it into your graveyard. Sweet. Ooh, and a rare Mirror Mind Crown. This isn't one of the craziest hits, but it is a pretty decent rare at that. As long as this equipment is attached to a creature the first time you create 1 or more tokens each turn, you may instead create that many tokens that are copies of the equipped creature. 6 mana to be able to do that is a little bit high of a cost, and I know there's at least a blue, I think, aura that you can equip, or not equip, but have cast onto a creature. That does something similar for slightly less mana, but having this as a equipment that can last even after the creature is removed, pretty good. End Blaze Epiphany, X and 1, deals X damage to target creature. When that creature dies this turn, exile a number of cards from the top of your library equal to its power. Then choose a card exiled this way. Till end of turn, you can play that card. You do still have to pay costs, but not bad for a little bit of removal stapled onto it as well. And we have ourselves just a regular swamp this time. A merfolk and a shapeshifter. Sweet. We have ourselves, I believe, another Blossom Blind. Appeal to Edru. Very nice. Edru is also a great card that we would love to see, so we'll maybe set that aside and hope to get one ourselves. A Sneakling. The Embrace again. The Solana Informant. Reckless Ransacking. Gallant Faulinite. Dawnblessed Pendant. Of course, this cares about a lot of the creature types in the set. For only 1 mana. Whenever a permanent you control of the chosen type enters, gain a life. And 2 in a tap sack this artifact, return target card of the chosen type from your graveyard to your hand. Not too shabby. A Boggart Cursecrafter. Death Touch 2/3 for 2. Whenever another goblin you control dies, this creature deals 1 damage to each opponent. An Eclipsed Marrow. A Merfolk Scout for 3 mana. Creature enters, look at the top 4 cards of your library. You can reveal a Merfolk, a Plains, or an Island from among them. Put it to hand, rest in the bottom. Sweet. We have ourselves Bree of Clan's Stout Arm. I do remember seeing this and getting excited about it. I forget why. Let's read it together. It's a 4 mana 4/4 Giant Warrior. For 2 in a tap, another target creature you control gains flying and lifelink until end of turn. And at the beginning of your end step, if you gained life this turn, exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a non-land card. You may cast that card without paying its mana cost if the spell's mana value is less than or equal to the amount of life you gained this turn. Otherwise, put it to hand. Yeah, I mean, casting free stuff, always going to be good. And for 4 mana, 4/4, that you don't have to even pay anything extra, I mean, like, enabling another target creature to gain a lifelink will probably be able to get you there, but you're guaranteed to go until you exile a non-land card. It's a pretty great effect. Ooh, and of course, we have some of the, I believe, enemy shocklands in this set. So we have Blood Crypt as our first. Actually, no, I believe Blood Crypt is allied, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, I believe, or no, yeah, because we have Izzet as well as one of the colors. Color combinations. It is the enemy shocklands. But a Blood Crypt. Non-full art. I know there is a special treatment for these that I believe you can pull even in play boosters. And hopefully we'll see a few of those that are double-sided even that look very cool. But that is a nice, lovely hit nonetheless. And we have ourselves a lovely elf token here. And on the back side, we have ourselves a Oko Shadowmoor Scion, the emblem for Oko's, I believe, ultimate that maybe we'll see if we pull ourselves an Oko here. That would be great. Sorry if there was a little hitch there. We did have some technical difficulties, but I believe we're back and better than ever. All right, on to the next. Got ourselves a Gangly Stompling, which we've seen before. A Glamourmite. When it enters, choose to either tap or untap a target creature. Sun-Dappled Celebrant. Convoke out a 6 mana 5/6 with Vigilance. Pretty nice. We have ourselves a Tweeze. Deals 3 damage to any target. You can discard a card if you do draw one. Boggart Prankster again. Dawn's Light Archer. Flash and Reach. Wanderwine Distractor. Kinsbale Aspirant. Some funky art on that one. Old school magic there. We have Unwelcome Sprite. Whenever you cast a spell during an opponent's turn, surveil 2. Nice. Moon Vigil Adherence. We have ourselves an Elf Druid. Gets +1/+1 for each creature you control and each creature card in your graveyard. It's a 0/0, but controlling him himself would mean, you know, this is at least just a 1/1. So it'll never die to having no power and toughness. Kindle the Inner Flame. Create a token that's a copy of target creature you control, except it has haste, and at the beginning of your end step, sacrifice this token. And you have a flashback of 2 mana and Behold 3 Elementals. We will see Behold on a few other cards here, so we'll make sure you know it. Beholding is you may cast this card from your graveyard for its flashback, well, that's flashback, and then exile it. But to behold an elemental, you choose an elemental you control or reveal a elemental card from your hand. So you have to behold 3 elementals to be able to flash this back. And then our first rare of the pack is a Spry and Mighty. 5 mana sorcery, choose 2 creatures you control, you draw X cards, and the chosen creatures gain +X/+X and gain trample until end of turn, where X is the difference between those chosen creatures' powers. Sweet. Scarblade Scouts. And, ooh, we have the light side. So this is the Lorwyn versus the Shadowmoor. The Lorwyn Swamp. And you know what? We'll even pull the Shadowmoor one out just to compare. That would be here. So we got Lorwyn on the left, Shadowmoor on the right. Two sides of a coin. Very lovely. Awesome. And of course, a Kithkin token as well. We have Unexpected Assistance, Convoke, draw 3, discard a card. We've seen that. Reluctant Downguard, Stalactite Dagger, Bile Vile Bogart. That's a mouthful there. Wildvine Pummeler, Cinder Strike, another Runaway Together, a Luminolusk, Death Touch with Vivid, and creature enters, you gain life equal to the colors among permanents you control. Another Kindle, a Perfect Intimidation, choose one or both for 4 mana as a sorcery. Target opponent exiles 2 cards from their hand, or remove all counters from target creature. Seems pretty good. A Glamour Gifter, Flash Flying, enters, choose up to one other target creature. Till end of turn, that creature has base power and toughness 4/4 and gains all creature types. And ooh, we don't have the full art from one of my beloved Magic artists, Chuck Lukic, but here's our first look at Ashling Rekindled. Elemental Sorcerer, 2 mana, 1/3. When this creature enters or transforms into this front side, you may discard a card. If you do, you draw a card. At the beginning of your first main phase, you may pay a blue mana. If you do, you transform Ashling to the back side, so they can transform back and forth. And the back side is Ashling Rhymebound. When this creature transforms into Ashling, and at the beginning of your first main phase, add 2 mana of any one color. Spend this mana only to cast spells with mana value 4 or greater. And at the beginning of your first main, you may pay a red. If you do, you transform Ashling. Lovely. And then we have ourselves an assortment of a foil common, a basic land, and a token, of course. Temporal Cleansing as our first common here this pack. Spicy Spikeling. A colorless card here. Rooftop Percher. 5 mana 3/3 changeling with flying. When it enters, exile up to 2 target creature cards from graveyards, and you gain 3 life. Ah, this beautiful art by Evan Fong. Dawn Hand Eulogist. It's just a common, but that art is fantastic. It is a Elf Warlock 3/3 with Menace. When it enters, mill 3 cards, and then if there is a Elf card in your graveyard, each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. Beautiful. Another Tend the Sprigs, a Burning Curiosity, another Runaway Together, a Goat Nap, a Glister Baron, a Crib Swap, another old school reprints. Crib Swap this time. Listed as a Kindred instant, of course, Shapeshifter. It's a changeling, even though it's not a creature, but this card is every creature type for things that care about that. Exile target creature, its controller creates a 1/1 Shapeshifter with changeling. And of course, another reprint as well, Spell Snare. Counter target spell with mana value exactly 2. And alright, got ourselves a second Ashling Rekindled. Again in the regular art. And fittingly, our rare foil of our first rare foil, I should say, is Ashling's Command. So we got the Rekindled and the Rhymebound versions on here as well. It is, of course, again, a Kindred instant, elemental this time, so it counts as an elemental spell. Choose 2, create a token that's a copy of target elemental you control. Target player draws 2 cards. Ashling's Command deals 2 damage to each creature target player controls, and target player creates 2 treasure tokens. Awesome. Ooh, and a foil full art, Plains from the Lorwyn side. That is quite lovely. Nice little town. Got ourselves a few folks down there. Absolutely stunning. We have a Foraging Wickermaw. A Scarecrow, of course. Lovely to have more support for Scarecrows. Coolwrath Zealot. Barbed Bloodletter. Safe Right Cavalry. A Gallant Foul Knight. Moonlit Lamenter. Blossoming Defense. A Grave Shifter. ETBs, you can return another target creature from your card from your graveyard to your hand. And, ooh, our first mythic, Emptiness. 6 mana, 3/5 Elemental Incarnation. When it enters, if white was spent to cast it, return target creature card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. When it enters, if black was spent to cast it, put 3 -1/-1 counters on up to one target creature. And it has an evoke cost of hybrid white-black and white-black. Awesome little hit there. Spiral into Solitude, a land, and a goblin. I believe we've seen most of our mechanics here, so we'll start speeding up a little bit here. We've also seen quite a few duplicates, commons already, so we'll stop for anything particularly interesting. But we have a Morkant's Eyes, Upkeep Surveil 1, 6 mana, sack it. Create X 2/2 black and green elf creature tokens, where X is the number of elf cards in your graveyard, only as a sorcery. Nameless Inversion. Impolite Entrance, as you're breaking down the door. And a Kin Binding. A 5 mana enchantment. Creatures you control get +X/+X, where X is the number of creatures that enter the battlefield under your control this turn. That does not say an until end of turn effect, so this is... Creatures you control get +X/+X, where X is a number of creatures that enter the battlefield under your control this turn. So during your turn, or during any turn, if you had 5 creatures enter last turn, we'll get +5/+5 during that last turn. But this current turn, if you had no creatures enter, if it's an opponent's turn, they're +X/+X, and if X is 0, it's 0. But beginning of combat on your turn at the very least, you do make at least a 1/1 White Kithkin creature token. And another foil rare, we have ourselves Adept Water Shaper. Other tapped creatures you control have indestructible. It's going to be a limited bomb for sure. And we have a beautiful little forest here. With maybe an elf in the bottom? Yeah. Sweet. A Stratosaurer, I believe our first card from the first pack. Evolving Wilds reprint, always nice. Tweeze, Summit Sentinel, Shimmer Creep, Noggle the Mind, and our rare, Goliath Daydreamer, a giant wizard, 4/4. Cast an instant sorcery from your hand, exile that card with a dream counter on it instead of putting it into your graveyard as it resolves. When this creature attacks, you can cast a spell from among the cards you own in exile with dream counters, not just daydream counters, just dream counters, on them without paying its mana cost. And a Darkness Ascends, and the Dark Forest in this one, the Shadowmoor side, with the Eclipsed Sun there. Gotta say, lore-wise and everything, this set is very flavorful, and it's a nice departure from all the universes beyond that we've been seeing. It's nice to kind of get a little bit back into Magic. I'm as big a fan of Avatar as anybody, but having just the in-universe lore does strike a nice balance to have every once in a while here. So it's lovely to see it back. A Glimmermite, Shore Lurker, a Brute, a Berserker, Swat Away, a rare. Ooh, we have a Marilyn, Fey Ascendant, 5 mana in Sultai, Elf Fairy Noble, flying, 4/5, And when it or another elf or fairy you control enters, exile top 2 cards of target opponent's library. Once each turn, you may cast a spell with mana value less than or equal to the number of elves and fairies you control from among the cards exiled with Marilyn this turn without paying its mana cost. Very nice. Ooh. And we have ourselves the Shadowmoor Plains with their watchtowers instead of their windmills. Sweet. A little bit more of Ashling here with Flaring Cinder, Moonglove Extractor. Some lovely, lovely art in all of these. We got Oko here. And, ooh, a Celestial Reunion, X and a green, sorcery, and a paragraph of text. As an additional cost to cast a spell, you may choose a creature type and behold 2 creatures of that type. You search your library for a creature card with mana value X or less, reveal it, put it to hand, then shuffle. If the spell's additional cost is paid and the revealed card is the chosen type, put the card into the battlefield instead of putting it to hand. So, kind of your Green Sun Zenith, but you do have to behold 2 creatures of that type to get it to field, otherwise it just goes to hand, which is probably a fair cost for, at least for a standard legal set. So not bad, not bad. Evolving Wilds, Shield Bearer, Cinder Strike, Flock Imposter is always a lovely little one. What's that guy doing there, huh? Lasting Tarfire. Ooh, and our second Shockland, Overgrown Tomb, Swamp Forest. Pretty nice. A Nameless Inversion, a Mountain, and a Modal DFC placeholder card, I guess I should say. Ooh, you know what? When you see just a little bit of color popping out, it's always going to be pretty good. So hopefully we got some excitement coming up in this pack. Ooh, an Eclipsed Bogart. Okay, just an uncommon, but we'll take it nonetheless. Creature enters, you can look at the top 4 cards of your library or reveal a goblin, swamp, or mountain from among them. Put it to hand, rest on the bottom. Sweet. A Eclipsed Realms. Land enters, choose one of the set archetype creature types. And it can either tap for colorless or 1 mana only to cast a creature or activate an ability of a source of the chosen type. Nice. And Champions of the Perfect. An Elf Warrior for 4 mana, and it's a 6/6. As an additional cost to cast a spell, behold an elf and exile it. So exile an elf you control or an elf card from your hand. Whenever you cast a creature spell, though, draw a card, and when this creature leaves the battlefield, return the exiled card to its owner's hand. Can definitely see some shenanigans that can go on with this. That's a pretty nice one. Elves notoriously can ball out of control with 1,000... Well, actually, yeah, 1,000 elves does seem very plausible. I was going to say that's maybe a little too much, but no, very doable. And when you have that many elves, exiling one to behold one is not too much of an ask. We do have ourselves a Wistfulness, though. The second of our cycle of mythic elemental incarnations. This one is green-blue. For green, when it enters, if 2 green was spent to cast it, exile target artifact or enchantment an opponent controls. And when this creature enters, if blue-blue was spent to cast it, draw 2, discard 1. And same thing with the Evoke for hybrid of the 2 colors. That'll go in the nice pile. This time we have a Adept Water Shaper. This time in non-foil. Once again, other tapped creatures control have indestructible. Lovely little hit there. Ooh, and a foil of the Lorwyn side swamp. Always love to see these. Nice. Let's tighten up this pile a little bit here. We're about halfway through box 1. We've been taking our time a little bit too much here, I think, so we'll speed up just a little bit again. Start getting to the goodies. A Rhyme Fire Torque. Enters choose a creature type. Permanent you control of the chosen type enters. Put a charge counter on this artifact. You can tap and remove 3 charge counters from this artifact, and when you cast your next instant or sorcery spell this turn, copy it. You can choose new targets for the copy. Another rare from the pack. Tristan's Command. Seems like we have a lot of these 2-color commands in here that are kindreds of their respective colors creature types, and does some lovely stuff here. And we have Samgway, which, taking on Rebecca Gray's art styles a little bit, I'm sure. It's a lovely little piece of art. Shore Lurker. Ooh, a Hallowed Fountain. Once again, regular art, but lovely nonetheless. You got both sides. You got your Shadowmoor. You got your your Shadowmoor and your Lorwyn as I pointed them backwards. Sweet. Ooh, and fittingly, we have a blue-white merfolk here of Sig, Wanderwine Wisdom. It can't be blocked when this creature enters or transforms into this front side. Target creature gains. When this creature deals combat damage to a player this turn, draw a card until end of turn. And beginning of your first main, you can pay a white. If you do, ooh, you transform him. And we did see something crazy behind him from the looks of it. But we'll lock in. We have Sig, Water Brine Shield. It can't be blocked. And whenever this creature transforms into this backside, target creature control gains protection from each color until your next turn. And at the beginning of your first main, you can pay a blue to transform him to the front. What do we have as a full art? Because we did see something crazy. We have a Tristan, Callous Cultivator. Wow, that's an insane pack. We have 2 of our Transform Signpost cards, and this treatment for Tristan is lovely. I don't know that I've seen this art before. Lovely little flowers. I know the backside of this card is actually insane as well. So this is a crazy good hit. The front side, nothing to snuff at either. It is Death Touch 3/4 for 3 mana. Already pretty great. When it enters or transforms, mill 3 cards. Then if there's an elf card in your graveyard, you gain 2 life. Again, not too shabby. But this backside that you can transform into at the beginning of your first main phase for a black mana is crazy. Oh no, it's not. It's what am I thinking of? There's a green, is it green white? Is the color combination that has a really, really insane backside that's like Selvala taps for yeah, I think it's green and white. You get mana equal to the number of creatures you control of a chosen type, I believe. But nonetheless, lovely, lovely card on the backside as well. Death Touch for this one, though. Whenever this creature transforms into Tristan, mill 3, and then you may exile an elf card from your graveyard. If you do, each opponent loses 2 life. Beautiful card, nonetheless. Oh my gosh. Fantastic. And, of course, the Windmill Plains to go along with it. Alright, we'll speed up to the good stuff because we're on a roll. I can see something already. There's for Identity, Personify. Wow! Oh, heck yeah. We have a full art Steam Vents. And of course, as I've been kind of alluding to this whole time, the backside, this is our Lorwyn side. We have the Shadowmoor side of Steam Vents. Two-faced Shocklands. This one in full art. You got your flavor text from Ashling. Consider water and fire. Enemies at first, but they join to make relaxing steam. Let's see the back side. We have different flavor text. Without strict control, fire melts ice, and the resulting water douses the fire. Yeah, pretty sick. Pretty sick. And a full art mountain to go along with it. Lovely, lovely stuff. Down to our last few packs. Looks like about 10 or so. This has been a blast to open so far. And again, this is only box 1. Ooh, Spring Relief Drum reprint. We always love to see that. A Gloom Ripper, Elf Assassin. Not the craziest card, but still pretty good. Keep Out, Tweeze. Morkant's Eyes. Ooh, something interesting in the back there. Might be an art card. Champion of the Path. Additional cost to cast. Behold an elemental and exile it. Whenever another elemental you control enters, it deals damage equal to its power to each opponent. And then when this leaves, return the exile card to its owner's hand. Pretty solid in a elemental deck. And of course, it looks like we have Ashling there leading the charge. And then we have a Shorelurker, a Plains. Oh, it looked fancy, but it's just our modal DFC filler card. That's alright. Ooh, a Morkant's Loyalist in the showcase frame. Again, cares about L's, giving them +1/+1 as an anthem. And whenever this creature dies, return a target creature elf card from your graveyard to your hand. Nice little signpost uncommon. Ooh, and a nice little hit here. Bitter Bloom Bearer. A mythic. If you know Bitter Blossom, you're looking at it in creature form here. It is a flash flying fairy rogue, 1/1 for 2 mana. At the beginning of your upkeep, you lose a life and you create a 1/1 black or blue and black fairy creature token with flying, just like what Bitter Blossom does. Lovely little hit. There is a chance in our collector booster box that we'll be opening later to get a serialized version of that Bitter Bloom Bearer. It would be lovely to get. But we're not going to hold our breath too much because that would be a big ask. But it would be great if we got it. Make sure you stay tuned for that if we pull one, though. Thoughtweft Lieutenant. This creature or another Kithkin you control enters. Target creature you control gets +1/+1, gains trample until end of turn. Our rare Flitterwing Nuisance. Bit of a nuisance here, too, because we don't really care about too big of a hit with that. Again, if you're interested in any of these cards, though, we are here for Jaff Comics in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Check out your local game stores if you're in the area. Check out Jaff Comics. There's a fantastic selection of singles, sealed products, not only for Magic, but for a number of other TCGs, your Yu-Gi-Ohs, your Pokemons, your Union Arenas, your Star Wars, your basically anything you can think of, honestly. And if it's not there, see if we're able to order it. Support your local game store, either at a pre-release for this Magic event, or Magic release of Lorwyn Eclipsed, or any TCGs that we support. Plenty of accessories with playmats, even custom playmats that we've showcased in stuff like our Final Fantasy box openings for Magic, where we had a custom playmat made of a player's Final Fantasy XIV online character. They provided the arts and had it custom printed, and I know that person is proudly using that playmat all the time and loves it. Quality, as an unbiased person here, or maybe slightly biased person here, but the print quality is very, very solid. So be sure to check it out. And if you're interested in any of the sealed products, check out jaffcomics.com. If you're interested in any of these single cards, you can check out the TCG player link of jaffcomics.tcgplayerpro.com, where you can browse all the TCG singles that we have available on that site. And I know that's my go-to whenever I'm building a new Commander deck, as a primarily Commander player myself. I'll just stop here for one moment because we do have two really nice cards. I have Collective Inferno, which is a convoke enchantment. As this creature, or as this enchantment enters, choose a creature type. Double all damage that sources you control of the chosen type would deal. Great little card here. And of course, a Glen Elendra Guardian. Glen Elendra being a very, very strong card from, I believe, original Lorwyn days. Back again this time with without persist, but with a creature enters with a -1/-1 counter on it. 2 mana, remove a counter from this creature. Counter target non-creature spell. Its controller draws a card. Not quite as good as original Glen Elendra, but still pretty solid. But yeah, if you're looking for singles, if you're looking for sealed products, all those links are in the description. But you can definitely check us out in store as well in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Fantastic place to play Magic. I know I'm there weekly myself. Wednesdays are Commander night. Of course, with new sets, pre-releases go on most days of pre-release weekend and continue as people are interested in the following weekends. So if there's enough turnout, there'll be games. So make sure to check us out in person and online. Our final rare of this first box here, box 1, is Champion of the Klachan, Kithkin Knight Flash. Additional cost to cast, behold a Kithkin and exile it. It's a anthem for your Kithkins for +1/+1. When it leaves the battlefield, return the exile card to its owner's hand. And that is box 1 done and dusted for Lorwyn Eclipsed, the latest set for Magic the Gathering. Again, we have a collector booster box that I believe we'll probably put the video out for next as video 2 before we have our other 3 play booster boxes. Because I know I'm very excited to see what we get from this collector booster box. So that'll be next video 2 here. But we have plenty of Lorwyn Eclipse content coming for you at Jaff Comics on YouTube. Again, thank you all for tuning in, your support, and we will see you in the next one. Bye for now.